Hey guys, Clay here at Havoc Off-Road. This is Crawler Conceptz front steel fenders for your Jeep JK, and I'm going to show you how to install them on your Jeep. So let's get started. Now with our factory fenders removed, the first thing we're going to need to do is mount these clips to this bracket. This bracket is going to go just like this. So make sure you get the left and the right sorted. Now these clips just slip over these oblong holes. Make sure you get the threaded insert to the inside. And they're a tight fit, so you're going to either need a mallet, maybe a hammer, push them on. And even when you hear it clip, you can still see the top of it's a little up. So we're just going to tap that down a little bit more. And then these pieces will flatten out once we get everything bolted on. Now you're going to need to reuse your factory 10mm bolts from your inner fender well. Now there's no nutserts on these front fenders. We're just using factory holes right now so that we can line up our holes to get marked to drill with. The fender will sit on a bracket that you'll see right underneath here. So you can do it by yourself. It's not too difficult. And like I said, I'm not going to tighten all this stuff down. We're just trying to mark the holes that we do need to drill out. All right, so I've tightened up a bolt up in the center here that attaches the bracket and sandwiches the outer fender, and then one in the back here. All these other ones I can actually move around so I know everything's going to clear. I can see the threads on the clips on the inside of that bracket, so I know we're okay here. And if you want, you can actually bolt the old inner fender bracket back to the fender, which we may do when we're done. So now that we've got all that stuff checked out, make sure everything is going to line up and work out okay. We'll mark a couple of the holes that we need to drill out. Now the kit also includes this bracket, and this ties the outer fender into the inner fender. That's what these holes here are. So after we drill that out with the fender back off, we'll go ahead and bolt this in place from the outside. We'll mark the inside holes, and then just make sure you have a drill bit long enough because you're going to need to go through this outside all the way into the inside. Make sure you get everything lined up. Now I'm just using a piece of wood to go behind the sheet metal. This sheet metal is really flimsy right here. Even with our rocker guard on, where everything stops, pushing on that without something behind it is not very safe if your hand's back there. If you have a better way, feel free to use it. Make sure you have a decent drill bit. Now we're drilling these all out to 3/8. Now there's a bead that's rolled on this piece of sheet metal. Makes it a little bit awkward to get the drill bit on, straight on. So I'm going to actually start at a little bit of an angle on that bead, and then as the bit starts to bite, I'll straighten out the drill. Make sure you clean any burrs up. And if you want to paint any of this stuff, now's the time. So this is how this bracket is going to sit. So I've got these bolts in to make sure everything's going to line up. Get your Sharpie, mark the inside. Now you got to keep in mind you're not getting this mark straight on. This is just giving you a good indicator, a visual on where to start. So your drill bit should actually be to the right or to the front of the Jeep a little bit. But that way, once you run your long drill bit through there, you have an idea of where you need to be. Now I can feel the drill bit starting to pull through the back piece of the sheet metal. As soon as it does, stop, because the drill bit corkscrewing into this last piece of sheet metal will draw this outer panel in and it'll crush it. See, if you keep going, you're going to need a new outer front fender. So we're going to go ahead and apply some clear silicone all the way around the edge of this. This is going to help keep out any debris, especially for you guys that live up north and they salt the roads. This is the kind of thing you're definitely going to want to do. Now we're going to go ahead and install this. This fender's pretty light and sits right on the factory bracket right here. I'm going to start with some of these that are in the clips. Get those started. Just kind of start working our way around, lining everything up, and get all of our bolts in. Now you can see you've got a little bit of sheet metal left over here after the fender's in place. You guys can trim that. I'm going to. We don't want pointy pieces sticking out for our tires or anything else. Plus it'll look nice and clean. You've got a clip on a tab that you're not going to use anymore. We're running Crawler Conceptz inner fender wells, so we'll show you what that looks like later. It might depend on what inner fender well you're running to. You may need to keep that stuff. It's just something I wanted to mention that we're going to do that you might want to do as well. There you go, guys. Install's pretty easy. Maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours total taking off your old fenders and installing Crawler Conceptz new steel front fenders. They look really clean. Everything bolted up really well. If you guys have any questions, give us a call or visit us at havocoffroad.com. Thanks.